Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Halloween. I wanted to share a very Halloween build that I made. I wanted it to be a speed build though because it's big. It's a lot. So I thought I'd make a video of me talking with it, talking about the build. I did skip some parts because there were some pauses in between and then things that I undid like a bunch of times. So I tried to cut it as short as I can. I have like a long video problem, I know. Um, but I think it came out really good and I'm excited to share it with you. I'm wearing my Halloween sweatshirt and I'm ready to go. These are spider webs on my sleeves. I painted them myself. I glued these on though. So I wanted to build like a little Halloween neighborhood where like in my head picturing like kids trick-or-treating and people walking around, like a cute little small town kind of a feel. So I chose the 64 by 64 lot in Henford on Bagley and I went for it and it was a lot. So I'm going to be watching the video on my end over here and then just talking and looking back. So here we go. Oh, so when I first started out, I wasn't recording. I was hoping to do a little bit of planning before I recorded. So this very beginning part here, I'm just like moving the houses around. These are the first few houses I started out with, which I always liked the idea of building a tiny house neighborhood. So I made all of these rectangles were 32 tiles. Then I just added little like bump outs or different things to make them a little bit different and whatever. But I wanted them all to be relatively small. But then it was looking a little too small. So I brought my ghost sim in here just to make sure it didn't like feel weird or anything. I had a really hard time figuring out how to plan this. It is not an easy task. And I guess I forgot. This area, I wanted it to be kind of like a little main street, like in a small village kind of town. So these are just a couple of random shops that I thought looked nice to have like a little shopping center area, which I think turned out pretty cute. Originally, the vibe I wanted to have was like a cozy fall town because fall and Halloween is just so cozy and nostalgic for me. Like Halloween was always like exciting growing up. And me and my family, we always like really enjoyed Halloween. And so I wanted that. But then this shopping area kind of had a little bit of a modern feel. So think of it as like a cozy little town with like a newly renovated shopping center. Because that is pretty common. There's a lot of places around here that are like doing this like modern outside kind of look. Oh, and one of my favorite things, I should say, that big corner, I'm going to pause it when I see it. This big weird shape in the corner is going to be our haunted house, which is really just like for lore because I love like movies that have like, think like Monster House or like, I can't even think about it. It reminds me of like those kids movies where there's like a haunted house on the street and nobody, like the kids are scared to walk by, stuff like that. And I wanted to have something like that, like a little bit of spooky element. I was gonna put it in this corner. I just wanted to do a little terraforming first. And I do build a cemetery attached to it. Because in my head, I'm thinking it's like this really old house, maybe owned by like someone that was like rich, maybe like a founder of the town or something. And maybe the town doesn't have rights to like tear the house down or redo it. So it just sits abandoned and old and scary. And the cemetery maybe has like some important people buried in it. I don't want to sound weird, but I think historical like cemeteries are very interesting. Like in old towns like that, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Here I was having trouble deciding how to build houses. Like I said, it's not easy building a whole neighborhood. If you want to do it because it's fun. Like if you're a builder and you really like building stuff for like stories in your head, because this wouldn't exactly be like a functional town to live in. I mean, you could make it like a residential rental, but the stores are there and I mean they could just be for decoration, but I don't know. But if you like building and having like story in your mind when you build, this is a fun thing to do. I really love building. That's probably like my favorite thing in The Sims. Oh, this house I ended up just copy and pasting literally because I thought they're like houses that are close to like the city center, you could say. So they might be like looking the same. I did add a garage to one because I thought, I'm like, all right, I'll make it a little bit different. But it kind of reminds me of like some of the houses near like train stations in the area that I live all kind of look similar. And I thought that was a fun element. But the rest of the houses, I tried to make all look different. Not like they wouldn't belong together, but just I didn't want them all to look the same. I did not decorate inside any of the houses except for the haunted house because I got pretty excited about that, but I did very like bare minimum on that. This house I thought was really cute that came out. I love that stone wall. I don't use that a whole lot. Oh yeah, and then on the other side of the shopping center, I wanted these houses to be raised up a bit, and that was a mess. Like I don't know if you saw, like the houses were like sunken into the ground a little bit. I'm not very good at terraforming, terrain building. I don't even know. I think I call it terraforming because of Animal Crossing, but it's really hard in The Sims, and there's a lot of things in the game I feel that like hold you back. So between terraforming just being a struggle to begin with, and then all the new glitches from the base game update, waiting for the new pack, this was hard. There were a lot of random glitches that came out, even though I took out most of my CC and mods. I don't know. I know The Sims is trying to get themselves together, but it's a little scary sometimes. I like how the whole neighborhood came out, to be honest. Oh, and in the center, I don't know if I talked about this. I haven't really shown it yet, but in the center of the neighborhood, there's a little park, which is really cute to build. This neighborhood is kind of giving like Hallmark movie vibes, where it's like in a small town, it's cozy. There's like a small main street where everybody like does their shopping. And then there's usually like a park in the center where like there'll be an activity. It'll be like the town's Christmas tree lighting, or I do put something in the park that's pretty cool. It makes it feel like a community. I put pumpkin carving tables in, and I'm thinking story-wise, again, in the story in my head, is maybe there's like a pumpkin carving competition. I thought it was a cute touch. This house I really wanted to make like cozy cottage feel. And then I was thinking in my head, like maybe it's rumored that like this woman lives alone there and she's seen as like a witch by the kids or something, even though her house is really cute. Okay, now here's one of the biggest struggles, but worth it. If you're gonna do this, this isn't horrible. If you want your neighborhood to have streets and sidewalks, this is what you do. You put down the sidewalk, and then the rest you do like either like an asphalt color or like a darker gray like I did. And then you fence off the darker color that's going to be your street, wall it off, make a room, and you lower it just one tile down. That way your Sims don't need stairs or anything. And it just looks more like a street. The sidewalk is like raised like in real life, and it just gives it much more dimension. It doesn't look so flat like it did originally. This does take a little bit of time, a little bit of planning, but it's really not hard. And then I realized I wanted a little more room on the street. These streets are extremely narrow. Luckily, there's no cars in The Sims anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I do put some debug cars in the street, and they look out of place because you know no one's driving them. Here I'm working on the haunted house now. I wanted it to look older. Like, I was thinking of using that door from the Wolf Pack because I wanted it to look kind of like rugged and run down, but I was like, I feel like that just looks like not the right vibe. I want it to look old and abandoned, but not quite like that door was. I was going for a little bit of a Victorian style here with that octagonal area, but I'm not good at building Victorian houses, so do not come for me. I mean, I like it realistically. I like other people doing it, but I'm not good at building it. Oh, on the roof, see, I picked some different things. I picked that like rundown roof, I think from the Wolf Pack, and then also the mossy roof from Cottage Living, because I like the idea of mixing the two of them together, because in my head, the story that I'm building for this town is I like to think about what might have happened in the house. And eventually I get around to decorating it with some of those like wall decals from For Rent and Werewolves and the basement kit. And I add them to the exterior and the windows to make it look kind of like maybe there was water damage or a fire or something. And I like the idea of that storyline. This was the hard part. Those were my placeholders because I couldn't find the debug base game tombstones at first. So those are custom content, but I take them out. So if you do want to download this, I'll tell you my info at the end. There are a lot of packs, but there's no custom content. I always forget that we have really nice shutters. These houses were kind of a pain, but they came out really cute. Here I went in trying to do a very quick job just decorating these stores, and I was thinking this one would be like a bookshop, but I think I end up changing that to a coffee shop. The shapes are all kind of weird. They don't fit a whole lot of stuff. I thought the bikes outside were cute. I wanted that bigger space. At first I was thinking maybe a restaurant, but I really just wanted it to be like a little store. So basically I was just trying to build up a little bit of something just to make it look like they weren't all empty. I felt like that wasn't very authentic, but I didn't want to spend a ton of time building them up when they're not really like the focus of the video. The focus of the video is just the whole neighborhood on one floor. Oh, here I moved the coffee shop over. I swapped it with the bookstore and I put stairs so you can go up, and there were more bookshelves upstairs. Here I quit. Here I am round 2, and I remembered that I wanted to build a gazebo in the park, and I've done this before. It's kind of one of my favorite little like details to add, like in parks and stuff like that, and it's pretty easy to do. You just need the octagon shape and some columns, spandrels, fences, and a roof. And that's it. You could just build an octagon room basically and then just put the spandrels in place of the walls. Love that. Oh my god, the light post. So I was trying to find just a pretty simple light post like that. This one is base game that I'm using with the flowers, but I just felt like it was kind of big, and then I went crazy and I put way too many, so we do remove some at some point. Now I started decorating, and I never saw that spider before, and I thought it was really cute. Sorry if you can hear my dog. But I wanted to just use all the pumpkins and ghosts. I thought they're so cute. I tried to use a little bit of everything on every house without repeating a lot of stuff, and I hope I did enough. I feel like I hit that sweet spot between like not enough and too much, which is hard for me. It's hard to know when to stop. I love this house especially. I really thought it was cute to put like the ghosty chairs, and that garland is so sweet. But I had this idea like people would like sit out on the porch and wait for trick-or-treaters. It's kind of that like cozy, idyllic, like Disney Channel Halloween movie feel for a town, you know? I wish I had thought to use a welcome mat at other houses too. I just used that Halloween one to be a little festive, but I'm like, a welcome mat would have been cute. I also don't know if I ever went back and changed that candy bowl at that house. I put it on a seance table, and now I'm like, did I go back? Because I meant to. That ghost banner was so cute. I was so annoyed I couldn't get it on the garage door. But I really tried to take advantage of all the like garland and hanging decorations and wreaths. That was pretty cool. Oh, and here I built a basketball court in the park because I only bought City Living for basketball. I really wanted that. And so I pretty much use it any chance I can get. And I just like the idea of having that, and you could park your bike right next to it. I put out a picnic blanket because I think it's so cute that Sims autonomously go on dates. The picnic basket slots automatically to the blanket. It's amazing. I couldn't decide what to do here. I wanted it to be like there were little like chairs and a cooler over by the basketball court, kind of like people could sit and watch the game, have a snack, or players. The monkey bars, I don't know. I wasn't going to put them in originally. I just felt like I needed a little more stuff to fill the space. And then, oh, I did get a telescope. I thought that would be fun and offer a little danger. And then I just did a little bit of terrain paint around the playground and decorations and trees. And I feel like that makes a big difference. The pathway I actually really like. Sometimes I get really upset doing terrain paint because I'm like, I don't know, you ever like, you do terrain paint and then you're like, this doesn't look realistic. I feel like I kind of nailed it this time around, like not to brag, but, and then I changed the floor tiles in the basketball court, and I think I like that better. So I really like this park though. I think it's so cute, and I would love to go here. Then I couldn't decide if I wanted maybe like a porch for this house, but then it became too complicated with the terrain paint. It was glitching it. You could see I tried to delete that railing a bunch of times and it did not let me, and I don't know why. I remembered all of these pumpkins. I put the little werewolf gnome. I thought that was cute. The spider webs I really love. Those are like chef's kiss. They look so good. And the ghost, I didn't know they had so many different expressions. I thought that was so cute. And I really like putting that like garland on the fence. These lights, I could not decide until like the very end. I thought of lining the streets with them, but then it felt weird and I was like, no. But I thought the pumpkins around the gazebo look really cute. I also put Patchy there with the little like garden square things because I thought it could be like a little community garden in the park. Then I wanted to see the town at night, and I was like, we need porch lights, you know? So we added some outdoor lighting to everybody's house. I wanted the old haunted house to be a little more spooky, so I think I only put one light and it was kind of dim. Then I put the tiny lights from the little campers kit inside the gazebo, and I think that came out really cute. It looks very much Hallmark movie vibes. You bring your fall date to the pumpkin carving contest in the park, and then there's the gazebo. Anyway, here I was deleting the placeholder tombstones, and then I had an issue with the debug tombstones. The debug tombstones, I put them down and they kept disappearing. I don't know why. They would not stop disappearing. I was very upset. So I found a replacement eventually because I was like, I don't have time to fix this right now. The bigger tombstones in the back, though, are from the Snowy Escape kit, and I thought maybe that could be like the town founders that are like, that used to live in the house that's now haunted, and their prized horse next to them. There's a horse tombstone as well. There's a lot of lore that I made up. I thought about making the siding of the house lighter, to show like these dirty decal things that I was putting on, but then I decided to just put them on the windows, and I think that looks even better. And then some show up on the dark siding because I really like that siding. I didn't want to change it, but I really like how this came out. So here I wanted to decorate inside of the haunted house, and I just wanted it to look old and run down. Again, I was thinking of a story of like what happened in the house, maybe a fire, a flood, something like that. And instead of just using the old crappy appliances from City Living, I found in the debug menu, if you categorize it by eco lifestyle, you can find these broken down versions of those appliances. And I thought that looked so good for like an abandoned house. And the doors come separate, so you could like hang them off the hinge. And I just thought these like jars and bottles were like a fun little touch. Maybe like teenagers broke into the house and like were having parties or something, and there's bottles behind because they got taken by the ghost or something. The layout of the house worked out pretty well, so I was able to fit 2 bedrooms upstairs, just like a master bedroom and a kid's room. And again, I really just wanted like minimal furniture in it since it's supposed to be like run down and whatever. But I love building like old haunted houses in The Sims. I previously made one. I might upload it. I was trying to make a video of building a spooky farm for Halloween, but I just haven't had enough time to get that one finished and this one. So I think I'll just upload that at another time. Also, I wanted it to be like this house is fenced off and nobody goes there, and it's like all the plants are run down. I picked a lot of like the dried looking plants from Horse Ranch to go in front of it. I thought that was a good touch. There was this weird thing there, that alien root, whatever. Never seen that before, but I thought it was creepy, so I put it in the grass. And there was that weird old mailbox. These bushes I thought would be good to be like, this house didn't want to be looking at a cemetery, and they planted those bushes to kind of give a little separation. And then I had the idea to make it look boarded up. So I took these debug like fence posts and I shrunk them and raised them up best that I could without a tool mod, because I don't know how to use the tool mod. And I just kind of went with it. I think it came out really nice. You'll see in the tour. Then I saw those stone walls and I decided to put them around the cemetery instead of the wood. That way there's a little more separation of that. That way it's still kind of like a part of the town, not necessarily just the house. And it looks better, I think. Here I was trying to stock the store and I was just grabbing a bunch of shit from Debug and it's a little bit weird. And then eventually I gave up, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It's a very small detail. Then I decided just to make this a little like restaurant. There's no food, there's no area to get food, but there's tables, so it's a restaurant. The coffee shop I like, I think it's cute. And then I went right back to the houses because that's what this is about. Did some more landscaping. I started thinking that maybe I didn't have enough plants and like natural features to make it look realistic, and also some personal touches in each yard. So that's what I was trying to work on here. Another basketball hoop. Can never have enough of those. And then I decided in the end to put the string lights between some of the houses that are closer together. Maybe they're friends. Here is the pumpkin carving stations. I think that's such a cute touch. And the idea of having like a pumpkin carving contest in the park sounds so fun in my little imaginary world. And then here I was trying to decorate the front of the shops, and I had this really good idea to put pumpkins in that little cart, and it mostly worked pretty well. I think it's a really cute little piece, very fall, very cozy. And then I found the pumpkins that go with the carving stations, and I was like, I need to put those in. So I don't know how I forgot that in the beginning, but then we just kind of put them in some other places. The spider webs also look so good in these store windows too. And the banners, they look so good by the windows. Oh, and then I had this cute idea that out front of the shops there could be candy bowls, kind of like how you can go trick-or-treating in stores. Like you go to shops or places and they have candy and they give the kids, which I don't think they had that back when I was a kid. Like, not to sound ancient, but I don't remember that being a thing. I mean, I know trick-or-treating was more the main thing that people did back in like the 90s and early 2000s when I was a kid, but I trick-or-treated to a pretty old age and I don't remember ever seeing stores having candy. Anyway, so here's some more landscaping that I did. Again, just trying to make everything look like it's in the real world or something. So I think I just put plants, maybe the bushes between the two houses to give a little dividing, and some in the back. On the orange house, I like that I had the pumpkin carving station in the driveway. Kind of like maybe they were carving pumpkins on their own or something. Like maybe they're really into it. They're those people. I'm going to be carving pumpkins tonight. Pretty excited. I am very into it, but I like a traditional face. I mean, I like the kits with the stencils too. Those are fun. But I kind of just like to wing it. I think we're coming right about to the very end here. I was just adding a couple more trees and I think that's pretty much it. So let's get into the game and I'll give you a little walkthrough tour.